So I have a very special friend over here with me today. Like he's somebody from Israel, and he has a experience with some kind of relation with Nepal in a broader timeline. Like he has been to Nepal 20 years ago, and then now, like after all these years, like he has been still connected with Nepal. And then let's talk with let's welcome our friend Jeff David.
Hi everybody.
And he's somebody like who has a lot of ideas about things like from art to volunteering service to political aspect. Also, we'll kind of touch up on that too. And other than that, like one of the things that I want to kind of focus, and that is part of his identity at this point, is like he's a adherent or he's a Raelian. Like let's just say that. Like I will. Many of us do not know what Raelianism is. So like I'm gonna just ask him, like, and then we'll learn about it as we go. But like it will not just be strictly on that topic. It'll be on various topics. And let's start with what's going on in his life. So you have been here many times in Nepal, right?
3 times.
So what brings you to Nepal this time? What?
Well, all sorts of reasons, actually. I was sitting back in Israel in my apartment thinking about what's the next step I'm going to do. I just visited Nepal a few months ago when I had to come back to Israel. And, I miss Nepal so much. Like, I really like the people and the food and, of course, the treks. I like to do some treks. So back in Israel, at some point of time, things got a little bit boring for me. Like I felt like I did everything that I can do. I already tracked in Israel. Already, I'm an artist, so I done making some art that I had in mind. And at that point of time, I was thinking about I can do everything that I want. I can be anywhere that I want. So where is this place that I want to be in? And I could just sit in my house and let the time pass by, And actually, it got a little bit more expensive for me now. It's really expensive to live in Israel these days. So I remembered Nepal. I remembered my experience the other time I was here, and it was so fun. I met so many people. Like I actually felt the love, and it was very special to me. So, and also I thought, where would be the place that I can actually fulfill myself and do something great for humanity? I'm really into it. So I remember Nepal as a nice place, and I think that's the reason immediately I came back, as soon as I could.
When was it? You said like you were here like a few months ago, or like when was the last time?
The first time actually was 20 years ago. Second time was last season in April, and that's the third time.
So April, May, June, July.
Yeah, I was
so
here
it's
just
about
for
8-9 months. Oh, okay. It's over about 8-9 months, right?
Something like that, yeah.
So like you were here for, and then that visit was like after 20 years.
Yeah, it was the first one after 20 years. Yeah.
So like at the time, like you decided, like you thought, like maybe I should just go back to Nepal.
Yeah. Because I ride bicycle and I really like to travel and to trek, and I really miss some snowy mountains and nice sceneries and everything. And I remember Nepal from the first time that I did the Annapurna circuit and everything, and I really wanted to do something big. Israel is so small.
It's very
so small, and I needed something bigger than me, something really big that I can do, something that will excite me.
Right.
And I remembered Nepal, and for those reasons, I just came back.
So, like, when you came back, like, in that 20 years period before you came back to Nepal, right? How many countries had you been to?
None.
So that Nepal was the only country.
Yeah.
Like actually, you said, you've been to US, right? Like.
Yeah, that also was 20 years ago or something like that.
So
first,
like,
I've been to Nepal, then to India, then I came to the States, then back to Israel, and I just stayed in Israel for.
So
20
you did
years.
not do anything like you're traveling 20 years,
Nothing,
and then you just. Okay, interesting. I thought like maybe like you were in that like
Maybe I was traveling in my mind, but physically I was just.
So like you had some period of traveling, and then you kind of like got back to Israel, and then got busy with life.
Yeah,
basically,
like I
right?
settled down, let the life begin, and at some point of time I just said I want to travel again.
Right,
and I want to do it out of the country if I can, and I could. So
So
This is what I did.
I mean, Nepal is I think for somebody like you, like who has that outlook towards life, right? Like probably Nepal is like one of the best country to travel,
I think
right?
so too. Yeah.
Like, and then do you plan to stay in Nepal for long, or like it's just gonna be the transit point for some?
I wish, right now, to me as a foreigner, I can only stay for 5 months or so. So I'm expecting to spend some 3 months here, and then I'll probably have another 2 months to be here, and that's it for me. I wish I can had some more time to be here.
Oh, so
I can actually see my life here. Who knows?
Probably
I mean, who
yeah.
knows? But right now, I can actually see my life
So
here.
it's like 5 years, like in a year, 5 months
5
in a year.
months in a year, like 150
So that's
days
like
on
a
a calendaric year.
So
Something
Nepali
like that.
rule or like Israeli rule?
That's the rule for me.
For
As a foreigner, right?
As a
for
foreigner,
everybody,
I did not know that. In Nepal, like as a foreigner, you should leave like within 5 months,
Something
unless
like
there is
that,
like
yeah.
some other. Probably if you go to take some kind of class and then turn into like change into like student status.
Yeah.
You may have to enroll in like Buddhism or like some
Who
kind of
knows?
like
I
some kind of
wish.
classes. Like
Yeah.
probably it's something that's doable. You learn also like like learn about the culture and all those things here, and then at the same time like what you can do is like stay here and then
Yeah.
do what you
What I want to do.
Yeah, want to do.
Yeah.
And at the same time you learn also like I think both. I did not know that like foreigners are only allowed to stay there for 5 months.
And it's funny because you think that that Nepali people would want you, the government will want you to stay as long as you can because everybody benefits from it. But for whatever reason, it's only 5 months. So
probably it's an international practice, is it not?
What?
Is it not an international practice?
Which one?
Like the 5 months rule.
International practice?
Right.
What do you mean by that?
Like I think like if you go to US also, right?
Yeah.
Like as a tourist visa, in a tourist visa, as a tourist.
Yeah.
Then like within 6 months you have to like get out of the United States.
Yeah.
And then probably you can go back
But
again.
maybe it has to do something with taxes, I think, with paying taxes. I think that's the reason after 5 months. Maybe something happens after 5 months that is related to taxes or something. Then they have to start paying taxes for you for being here. They don't want to, so you have to leave. I think. I didn't go
probably
into
yeah.
it, but
It's a probably global like economic thing. Like if somebody like kind of decides to not stay in that certain country, and then probably they might not be becoming productive or paying taxes wherever. Probably like they want to force those things.
Yeah.
But you can always come back next year, right?
Yeah, that's right. I already have some plans. So
you have plans, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when let's compare like what your views like on how you felt about Nepal 20 years ago and then about now. Like you were pretty young back then, like in your early 20s,
Right.
and then now like probably you are in around your 40s, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So like now like you have like a pretty broad like Nepal has changed a lot, like according to a lot of us, like we think that like Nepal has changed a lot in these 20 years, like politically also, like we're I think
in a different place right now.
Right. Like I think the civil war was still on 20 years ago. Now like
like for me it looks the same, right? For the first look it looks the same. Everything actually looks the same, right? But there are some small changes. Like 20 years ago, first of all, I was a bit younger. My set of mind was a bit different. I didn't notice the thing that I'm noticing right now, something where I was just a young boy who travels and cares only about himself and I don't know. But now that I have some actually stuff that I'm doing here, I have some actually things that I'm actually doing in this country, so I feel it a bit different way. But you know what? I think one of the biggest changes that I see in Nepal is the upcoming movement of veganism. Actually, like 20 years ago, nobody talked and nobody knew about vegan, and now I see a lot of people. There is a activist movement here, and a lot of I have some friends here that are vegan, and I'm vegan as well. So that would be the most, I think, biggest change that I can see, the awareness of vegetarian and vegan
I
per
think,
se.
Yeah, I think the thing is like, we see what we want to see or what is in our mind, right? So like when we go somewhere, like we don't see, there may be a lot of things happening, but like whatever is like pressing in our mind, like we tend to notice those things. And then probably like, you represent the capital city of
Israel.
Vegans.
Capital city of vegan.
Capital,
again, Nepal is still, it's a big city, it's a big crowded city.
The thing is like Israel is the capital city, is capital like of vegan or something. There, I did not
they
say
would say that Tel Aviv would probably be the capital city.
Vegan capital. Oh yeah, I did not.
Israel,
It's like vegan capital of the world, like
Yes.
Tel Aviv, right? I
Yeah.
looked up on the internet also, like when I came here, and
Yeah,
then
it is.
actually, like, let me ask you, like, when you came back to vegan Kathmandu, like recently, right,
Yeah.
about a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
like at the time, like, did you come to Kathmandu representing vegan community, or like it was just your personal thing?
No, I did actually. Like, I was, you're asking for what reason I came here?
Yeah.
So one of them was probably, being some activist, doing some active vegan-related things
Work.
that I just couldn't do in Israel. Because when you talk about vegan,
But
especially
it was a decision by yourself, or like it was something as a vegan organization that you are part of. Are you
no,
part
I'm
of?
just act by my.
You are just
myself.
doing. You are doing
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you are passionate about it. You just think you want to spread the word kind of thing,
Exactly.
right?
Like I do it alone by myself. Like I'm feeling I'm on a personal mission. you
Okay.
know, not just related to veganism, but as well. So.
Like continue on.
I want to spread the message.
Well, sorry to interrupt you earlier,
Yeah.
but like you were saying, like when you came here about a year ago,
Uh-huh.
it was like for some veganism related thing, right? And what
Yeah.
like can you continue on that? Like,
Yeah, so again, back in Israel, whatever I wanted to do that was related to vegan, I just couldn't do. If I wanted to do some collaboration with some business owners business owners, if I wanted to do some collaboration with people
what kind of business? Like you were saying, like people regarding.
I had all sorts of ideas of how to make businesses go vegan, like businesses there was like restaurants and dining places that was not vegan.
Right.
I had some ideas how to make them go vegan, but I just couldn't do it in Israel because nobody was listening to me. Everybody thinks they already heard about everything. They already know anything about everything. And so nobody accepted me and my thoughts and my insights about, not only about veganism, but especially,
Arts.
arts as well. Like I'm an artist as well, and I didn't do any exhibition. I didn't sell any of my art, So actually nobody, except for maybe the social media when I post some things that I make. But rather than that, nobody knew me, nobody cared about me, And I was looking for a place that I can actually do something that I would not feel that I was just rotting in my chair doing nothing, I really want to do something. If I'm already alive, I feel like I want to do something good for humanity. So I think veganism and being vegan is one of those things,
And then so like you came here kind of like thinking that like maybe like I should go to Nepal and then take part in vegan group, like meet people like friends and all those things.
Actually,
right?
I didn't even think about it that I'm gonna meet anyone. Actually, I was just going to Nepal in order to do some treks. As I said, I wanted to do something big. Okay, and also maybe ride some bicycle because I'm a professional bicycle rider and do some treks with bicycles. So that was the original thing. And actually, I did the Tamang Heritage trek, but after 4 days, I got sick. Tamang Heritage.
Tamang Heritage.
Yeah, like
Tamang
Langtang and Gusei Kunda and everything. So after 4 days, I just got sick and I decided to go back to Kathmandu. So I didn't finish the trek. Now, when I finished after 4 days and I came back, I said, what am I going to do now? I came here just for the reason of trekking. And then something actually really interesting happened. I went to this vegan restaurant called Loving Heart. It's in Tamil in Kathmandu. And there I met this guy named Dipesh. He's the founder of the organization Kathmandu Animal Safe.
You were not planning to like meet him?
I didn't plan anything. I was
just
dining at this place,
meeting
this guy because I was vegan. I was curious. Who's this guy who's talking about vegan, doing some vegan related? He was creating something related to vegan in the computer. So it doesn't matter. I met this guy, I talked to him, and I found out that he was vegan. So as for me to see somebody who is local Nepali vegan, for me, after 20 years, I was amazed. And then he said, I have some friends that are vegan also. I said, what? Like there's actually vegan people here in Nepal? There is a thing called, And there was, and we got together, and then I met some other friends, and then they invited me to this event that they made about veganism, and I met some other guys, and then all of a sudden I saw there is a movement here, just like in Israel. There is a movement here, and people are talking about veganism, and people have open minds, and it's really interesting. So they actually asked me some questions, and they were curious about what I have to say and what I'm thinking about, and related to veganism. And then we got together, and like now they're my friends. I'm preferring to them as my local Nepali friends, and I'm really happy about it.
That's great, man. Like I think in a way, like you didn't really plan to be a representative of Israel to the vegan community, but like you became, like, since you are from Israel,
yeah,
and you met vegan people, and in Nepal, like this community of people, and then you being somebody from Israel, you automatically kind of like your words are taken. You represent your state in a way, you know, like. Even though you know, like there is a lot of like people like who has this like hippie mentality of saying like fuck government and this that, right? But in the bigger picture, the moment we go to some other country, we become the ambassador of our country. We represent our country in some ways, you know, like not ambassador means like a political position, government position, right? But as a whatever you do, it represents your people back home, right? And knowingly or unknowingly, like we kind of like represent our state. And then I think like you being from Israel and then being in Nepal, and coincidentally, like in a way, like you are also vegan from the vegan capital of the world.
Right.
So
I don't know if I'm the biggest ambassador of Israel, of the veganism movement in Israel,
but like
I try to do something, you know,
but
whatever I can.
Yeah. But like whenever you are in that group of people, like vegan group, right? Like in Nepal, probably you are the only Israeli, are you not?
At that point of time, I think I was the only Israeli one, but I think there are some other, you know, other foreigners, you know, that are vegan and taking, working with this group as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, like, how is like people probably would want to know like how like being an Israeli like is like, you know, like there are most of the time like only like in Nepal, like let me finish the question, right? Like in Nepal, like only time we hear about Israel is like when
bad connotations,
bad like when it's like something about like Palestine. If Israel like kind of like bombs over Palestine, right? Like there is wars, like you know, and when the like protest in the Gaza Strip or something, like it reaches that crescendo, you know, like I think the protest is going on all the time, right? Like it's pretty much everyday sort of thing. But like whenever there is some major conflict happen, that's the only time like we hear about Israel. And the other times like it's basically like not even like in general people's mind. So like we probably think like, and then that happens a lot. Like the thing is like those kind of conflict.
I think you only hear one side, because right now you said, you know, when Israel is bombing Palestinians, but you didn't say what happens when Palestinians making some suicidal terror acts.
They're never in the news.
Against Israel, it's never in the news, right?
So that happens quite often?
Every day.
Like people like bombing attempt like in Israelis like malls and shops and squares and all those things. It happens a lot.
Every day.
Like, but like, you know, like, but you like, you know, we do not hear about like how some bomb got detonated.
You will never
like,
hear about it, because this is the meaning of being racism.
So like people do die like every day, like in Israeli people?
Every day.
Really?
War never stopped.
So like there is like some bomb going on every day and then people dying here and there, one or two people.
Yes, of course. If you're going to stay in Israel, you're going to know about it every 5 minutes, like, you know. But yeah, I understand that outside of Israel, I mean, who cares about Israel, right? And even if you do, you're going to have to choose a side, because you cannot know the whole picture. Nobody's going to give you the whole picture. It's going to give you the headlines. It's going to give you whatever, I don't know, maybe even you can make some money out of those news, you know, in a way. So
it's funny. It's really funny, like, you know, you as like like you seem like somebody like who is an artistic kind of person, like open to experience, and then probably like you are more liberal than like conservative, right? Like in the general meaning of what liberal means,
I'd like to think of myself as a more liberal
kind of thing, right? Like, and then probably like most of your foreign friends who tend to be liberal, probably they are like very anti-Israelis, right? Pro-Palestine sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then you are in this space like where you are a Israeli and a liberal, but like you have to somehow like
the fact that I'm a liberal doesn't mean that I'm gonna choose, only the left side of the map.
Right.
I have my own thoughts and insights about
very closely
things,
very
and
closely.
I can still be liberal.
Like earlier we were talking like how you actually live very close to Jordan and Syria, right? Like in that area.
I live up north in Israel right now for 2 years. Yeah, at the triangle of Syria, Lebanon, and Israel.
Syria, Lebanon.
But that's actually.
Is it a peaceful part or like?
That's actually a peaceful part. That's where most of the nature valleys, the most beautiful nature valleys, are actually rivers and mountains and. Really nice scenery, and that's, I think, the most beautiful place in Israel to live in. And that's actually the reason I choose to live there, because I'm coming from Tel Aviv, the big city. And, I wanted to ride some bicycle. I wanted to do some treks in nature, just like I'm doing here, but in Israel. So I chose that place, and like bingo, it was the best place I chose. And I really hope to, someday to come back if it's possible. If I can afford it again and just live my life there. I think it's most peaceful and,
So, like, let me just, like, with Israel question, let me ask you one last question and then we'll move on to something else. Like, living in Israel, right? Like, there are a lot of, like, Israeli people, like, from Arabic descent, right?
Right.
There are a lot of people from Arabic descent. So, like, the thing is, like, do you... like how many? Like, do you have a lot of Arabic friends like in Israel?
None.
Like,
so, I wish I had some,
but like
I'm open to.
Like, do you not guys interact with each other?
Yeah, we do interact with each other, but there are some limits. It's
like there is, but they are Israeli, right? Like Nas Delhi, is pretty famous.
So we call it Israeli Arabs.
Israeli Arabs, right? Yeah. Like there are a good number of those people,
Arabs,
right?
But they live in Israel.
Yeah.
And by the way, Arabs refer to Israel as Palestine, but Palestine in Israel is the same. They just call it a different name. That's all. That's all.
But like those like Arab like Nasir thing, like Nas Delhi thing guy, right?
Yeah.
Like there are the good number of those like Arab Israeli.
Like pro-Israeli, if I'm
he's pro-Israeli. He's not very political, but like generally he's like about like unity and all those things. Like he's not very like political most of the time. Like I think he's even dating a Jewish girl. So like so American though, like not Israeli, but I think his girlfriend is like American Jew.
Okay.
But the thing is like but the people like who grew up, but he grew up in Israel, like Nas, right? Like and then. But like there are a lot of like people in your classroom, like were growing up in your childhood, like who were around you, or like they are basically pretty much like living in a different part of the country.
Well, my experience, I was only growing up with some Israeli friends and non-Arabics. But had I lived in a different place, like we can study together, we can work together, we can do whatever we want together.
But people like him, like from Arab root descent, right? Like, do they like are they pretty like in the city area, especially Tel Aviv and all those things? Are they pretty much like in all the government jobs and all those things? Like they have like they get treated as like Israeli, or like they always feel like left out. Like, what do you think? Like the general mood is?
I think they are, but inside, I guess they feel a bit different. And it can happen not just to Arabic, like even Israelis have different colors because they come from Europe, they come from Arab countries. So even for just the Israelis, which are non-Arabs, if you're a bit darker, they're going to treat you a bit different, or at least they think they're going to treat them a little bit different, And for some things, they're right. Like, but we really try to emerge everybody to go together with no differences,
So okay. So there are real issues, and at the same time, it's to some level, it is psychological.
Yeah.
But
like
there are
everybody is going to feel a little bit, oppressed for whatever reasons, it's
Like-
their own feelings. But I think Israel as a country tries to do her best not to separate,
segregate
people from each other, and really to unite everybody if it's possible. We are really working hard for it.
On that side, okay.
On that side, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very difficult issue. Like, I did not want it to like talk too much about it because, both sides, the passion runs very high in this issue.
I tell you this way.
Yeah.
I think you can be whoever you want, what color you want, and as long as you're not violent. Okay, so you can be Arabic, but don't be violent. You can be African, I don't know, but just don't be violent. You can be Israeli, but don't be violent. As long as I think that people are not violent, then they can live together with no segregation, no nothing, But so happened to be that some group of people, not just Arabic, are
some specific group, right? Like some people within the community, like
some people, some communities, even some group of people, they chose the wrong way to use violence against each other and against other people, especially innocent people, and they don't care about anything. So we cannot be friends with those kind of people, you see. So it doesn't have to. To be related to a person being Arab or a different authentic,
like different, different, like African
different
and
nationality.
Nationality. Like I think like there are the Jewish people like from African descent also, right? Like there.
Some, like Ethiopians. I
like,
think
do they? How do they feel about it? Ethiopian Jews, right? Yeah.
Just like Arabs, like they feel
the
segregation.
Probably like there is some reality and some feelings also, right?
Yeah, they would stand in front of the dancing club, and the bouncer would not let them go inside because of their color per se. So yes, some racism are still happening. That's true. That's true. But
it's
as a society, as a liberal society, we really try to overcome those.
Are they economically like kind of behind? Is it not? It's not necessarily all like about race also, right? It's about economics also. Like, do you think it is because like they are economically poorer than other groups? Like,
no, they can come with a lot lot of money.
But it's
in
still
their case, just because the skin color, I think.
So that's there is a
big problem. It's a big issue.
So that's a real thing also. So
yeah.
Oh, so
sadly, it's still happening.
Okay.
By the way, not only in Israel.
So it's not only money thing, but like it's also just purely because they are like darker skin.
I think it doesn't have to do with money anymore.
Okay.
It's not because this guy is poor or something. It's purely racism just because of the color.
So there are parts.
I'm really ashamed of it for us Israelis and for humanity as well, that we are still trying to diverse people, and to segregate them and to trying to divide them.
So is it like because of the club? That's because their club did not want it to, or like it is like a practice like beside in sectors like clubs and restaurants?
I don't know. Maybe it's because of the selector. Maybe he decided at the moment that he doesn't want you to go inside because whatever reasons. I mean, there are some reasons. I guess when you see somebody who's in a lower
echelon, like that space,
they immediately think, okay, he's poor. He's not gonna spend a lot of money in the club. So what is he gonna do in the club? Just gonna harass some people? Who knows? Like if he was rich, so maybe he's a good guy. Maybe if he's poor, maybe he's violent. I don't know, And sometimes it's actually true, If you're gonna put somebody who's, let's say, not because of the color of the skin, but I mean, and also the selector, he speaks a little bit with the people before they go in. And some people, I'm not gonna say who, but some people are sometimes, a bit wisest, like they're trying to get smart. Like the bouncer, like the selector will ask them some random question, and they will try to avoid the question. Like I don't know to give you the right example, but say he would ask them
about like asking somebody like from Ethiopian.
You know what? maybe he will ask him, can you give me the ID card?
Right.
And maybe this guy said, no, I'm not going to show you my ID.
They
Why
would
don't you
not
show me the ID? I said, I don't want to show you my ID.
They would
So
not
you're not going to
cooperate.
go inside. And then this guy will say, you're not letting me go inside because of my skin color. But no, just because you got a little bit... Why didn't you show him the
So
ID?
it's a both ways. So I guess it.
You see, it's
like,
a bit complicated. He will think it's because of this color. The selector will say, no, it's not because of the color. It's because he's getting smart with me. If now he's getting smart with me, what's going to happen inside?
So like,
I will ask him to leave, and then you say, well, I'm not going to leave, and we got into a fight.
So like,
so try to prevent it before. I think that's the reason. That's the actual reason, I think.
So they would think that like he has like some kind of attitude and chip in the shoulder, and
attitude.
Then, but like at the same time, like there is some level of some kind of racism like still going on.
There is some, yeah. For sure there is some. Yeah, but mostly it's the attitude. And this guy, it doesn't have to be Ethiopian. It doesn't have to be Arabic. Surely Israelis have a lot of attitude, believe me. So, it goes for everyone.
Right. But yeah, I think it's a very difficult situation, and then like having to deal with terrorism like every day, like probably like people are always on edge, like always trying to like be very cautious and suspicious about each other also, like because like if you are not careful, then bomb can go off, right? Like that's something that's. Of course. That's like that's not something that you play around with. So, but like it's a very complicated issue. Like I don't want too much to delve into it too much at this point. But let's get into like your other passions, man. Right. Like you are into arts and I saw your Facebook and yoga and all those things, right? Mm-hmm. Like what inspired you? Like when did you start making arts? Like is it like just out of like a hobby you started, or like it was like something that you knew like you were good at it, like when you were a child, or?
I think I was also always. I had this creation, side in myself. Like I was always sort of an artist, but I just didn't refer myself as an artist. I was different a little bit, and I did some art-related things. Like I was working in Tel Aviv in this bar, in this restaurant, and they fired me. No, actually, I fired myself. Like I quit the job.
Yeah.
And I was sitting like for half a year in my house, not working. And you get a little bit bored by that time, right? Because you're doing nothing. You're not working, doing nothing. And I had all sorts of ideas in my head. And I really wanted to feel them. I wanted to hold in my hand the idea, if it makes sense. So I was thinking about something, and then I said, how am I going to actually hold it in my hand, this idea.
The concept that you had in your mind, you wanted to bring it to life.
I want to create something.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know how I'm going to do it.
Right.
But I knew I want to do it. And then I had a computer. I downloaded some softwares like Photoshop and Illustrator and all sorts of softwares. And I started to experience with them, And I really had to teach myself from the beginning. Because I'm not that great of an artist. I like to refer myself as an artist, as an creator.
So like
I like to create things, artistically. But I'm not an artist who creates. I'm more as a creator who do art. So this is what I did. I started to create something, doing some illustrations and then removing them to the computer and then do the same on the computer with the software. And then I had an image that I can look at and show the others, and then everybody can see the idea I had in my head right in front of them, as an illustration. And then from illustration, it went to graphic design. And went from graphic design, it went to 3D printed things. I bought a 3D printer, and I started to design in 3D software, and then I could print whatever I design in a 3D software, and then I could actually, at the end of the day, hold something in my hand that 5 minutes ago was just in my head.
So 3D print, you 3D like create things in 3D and then print it out on 3D.
Exactly, and then I paint them, and
okay.
So it's really nice. I also sew things.
I thought you printed only in canvas. Like you actually make them 3D. I did not know that. Like, so you've been like creating things and then printing it out, and it's like basically not just a canvas painting kind of thing.
Exactly.
It is like some
all
object.
of a sudden, it's a figure.
It's a figure
that I can
object.
hold in my hands. Yeah.
Like for some reason, I was thinking like since I saw that thing, like you can show that to the camera also. Like
I show you some examples. Like if this would be like the illustration, this would actually be the render in the computer. So this is not actually real, right? This is just a render based over some illustration that I made. And then at the end of the day, I 3D printed those images into figures and painted them. So now it's actually a figure.
Okay. So like those are the pictures of the pictures of the thing that you actually created, right?
Exactly.
I thought like those were the final products that you painted, sort of,
No, but that's the final product being 3D printed.
Okay. So
I have developed from illustration to the graphic design.
Yeah.
It took me 12 years, by the way. It was a very long process, period of time,
to learn like everything, like
exactly, because I'm self-educated. I have to teach myself everything, the software and even the art itself, holding a pen or holding the graphic pen on with the tablet and everything. I had to do everything alone by myself.
Man, that's some like commitment in a ways, like to that art, like even though you were not like necessarily an artist, but like you kind of decided that you want to learn this, and then hope you get a market for that also. Like, is there a market for that? Like, how?
There is a big market for it, but I'm not selling anything because I'm just doing things for the love of creation.
So you are not selling it not because like
I cannot put a price over my.
You are not selling anything because like it's by choice. Like it's not like people are not buying it, but you just don't want to sell it.
People are dying for it. Like, are you selling it? I want to have one, but I just prefer to give them for free.
Okay.
For free.
Maybe you need to find a way to make money, man.
No, I just that's the whole thing. I don't want to make money.
Okay, like let's see. Like I mean that's something that it's not easy to live without money. And I think like you need to find somebody, like probably you have like some backing. I don't know. Like you said earlier that you're a Raelian. Probably a Raelian will
First of all, again, for the money, like my issue is money. What is the issue with money? I don't want to make any money. You understand?
So
I don't believe in the money system. I don't believe in this.
So how are you gonna like? Who is gonna support you like when you get older? Like, do you think like Raelian is gonna? I'm just making fun, but like
maybe money will support me, but I don't have to work for it. Like I'm not gonna work for the money. I'm
trying to transit it take the conversation, transit to like Raelianism.
Right.
But like I think it's your choice. Like I think you are in much better position than a lot of us Nepalese like here in terms of like money and all those things. Like you have very good government, at least that takes care of its people and all those things. Like the whole thinking process of like people from us like third world countries, right? Then like first world countries, like it's so different that like you don't have to like think about like later in life.
I can afford myself not to think about the money.
Right.
Not everybody can do it.
Right.
I can do it. So this is what I want to do.
Right. So like now it's a great time to transit to Raelianism, and then this is something that is so new for me also. Like I did not know anything about Raelian.
Right.
Right. I'm saying it right.
Raelian. Yeah.
Raelian.
Yeah.
So. Let me for my audiences, like let me tell you this story. How it's such a funny story, like how life kind of like throws coincidences at you, like, and then it's almost like I forgot that word, but like it's a sort of like something that the accidental sort of thing. I forgot that word. It's a very beautiful word, but the thing is like. One of my friend that I met, like
you mean karma?
It's not karma.
No.
It's not a very common word, but it is a beautiful word, and a lot of people know about it, but at the same time, it's not used very often.
Right.
But the thing is, like the story, like I was talking with a friend that we both have, right? Like our friend, and. He like as I was talking, like my last guest actually, and then Abis, and then we were talking about with him, and then he said like one of his Israeli friend is coming to Nepal and
Right.
in a couple of days and all that thing.
Yeah, that was
And
me.
yeah, that was you. But and then he was like, like you can talk with him. Like the thing is like he's actually a Raelian, and then I was like, what is Raelian? I did not know Raelians, and then I went home, Googled about it, and as soon as I Googled about it, like I did not see much about Raelian, but there were so many articles or news the kind of thing about Kanye West and Raelian, and I was like, how come I did not know anything about Raelian? Like when Kanye has already made it so famous, like in some ways, and then the fact that like Kanye West controversy, and because of that reason, he even got banned for Twitter. I don't know, like for some reason, like Raelian is often mistaken as Nazis because of that symbol, like swastika, and then yeah, like this coincidence, like now like, even Kanye West, because of that thing, he got banned from not the old Twitter, Elon Musk Twitter, like recent Twitter, like which is supposed to be like all about free speech. Like he got banned from it. Like I think his account is suspended for a week or two. I don't know, like if he's already back, but like he needed that suspension anyways. But the thing is like. This there is this image about Raelians, right? Like where the people tend to think it as like a very anti-Semitic and I mean cult like impression, like everything everywhere that people. So
which
like
in reality is of course the opposite, complete opposite.
And then after talking with you, you said like you are like you are not called, like nobody controls you, like nobody is saying nothing like to do this or that, right? So like. This whole impression, like probably it is a symbol that has like that was very much synonymous to like Nazis, right? Like that has been used in there. So probably that is the reason why it became so bad. Like the whole impression among the Western media. Now, like since you are here, like let us hear about what Raelian is like from your perspective.
So first of all, what is Raelian? You're asking?
Or what is Raelian? Right, and what is it to be like? What is it to be Raelian? Like
first
how has life
Raelian
changed?
Like there is a movement, a global movement called the Raelian movement. Raelian because the leader called Rael, and he is actually a French guy, and he lives in Japan in Okinawa, and he leads this. Global movement which carries a message, a great message for humanity. So that message was delivered to Rael by extraterrestrials, which are called in Hebrew Elohim. And Elohim are mistaken to be what everybody calls and refers to God or gods. Now Elohim, it's a plural word, means like
more than one God?
More than one, but there is no God. Those are actually people who came from another planet, found this planet Earth, and created intelligently all lives, including man, in laboratories on Earth. And so they gave us, the people that they just created, tools and insights of how to live our lives on this Earth. And after that, they left. And they didn't come back because they love us so much that they want us to solve everything for ourselves.
Yeah.
This is how much they respect us. They don't want to interfere. But on 1945, the atomic bomb was thrown over Hiroshima by the US, and we started to play with atom. And this is very, very dangerous, not just for the people who live here and all the for the other creatures, but the whole universe itself. Because us people are a little bit, and this is something that the Elohim said, we are a little bit more intelligent than them. Even though they came here 25,000 years ago already, and they made us here, still they already knew that their creation, us, at some point of time, we're going to be a little bit more intelligent than them, and also a little bit more dangerous. Because if you're not going to go non-violent, like if you're going to fight against each other, and cause wars, so at one point of time, we're going to destroy everything. And we're going to destroy ourselves, and we're probably going to destroy everybody else with us, risking every life in the universe, because we are not the only one who lives in this universe. There's so many others, and they couldn't take that risk. So on 1945, ever since, they came back, and now they are watching us, and they are taking care of us. And even though we don't see them, they're still taking care of us, and they are watching us and making sure that we are not gonna use this. We're not gonna play too much with this, with this atomic technology, and so we will not risk them, and we will not risk ourselves. So they're trying to do the best of what they can, that we will not eventually destroy everything, because they worked really hard just for us to get to this point, and it will be really a shame if we're going to destroy everything.
So
right now.
they used Claude Verilhon?
Yeah, so Rael, actual name is Claude
Yeah.
Verilhon. And
so why
they
is
gave him this name.
Oh, they gave him this name. Okay.
Yeah, and they asked him to carry this message and to spread this message all over. And this is exactly what the movement is trying to do. And right now, I'm like a messenger who carries this message for this movement by myself. Nobody asked me to do it. And right now, actually, in Nepal, I would be the only Raelian here. Like, there's supposed to be one more Raelian here in Nepal, but he's actually right now in Japan. So he told me, he knew I was coming. He said, right now you're the only one here.
Is he Nepali or like?
Yeah, he's Nepali.
Like from our Nepali?
Yeah, he's local Nepali.
Okay. So, anyway, it's a... So now, like, since you are born from in a Jewish family, right?
Right.
Do you consider yourself Jewish, or like you are pretty much like, let's say, let's not be personal. Like, if somebody like that guy, Nepali guy, right? He probably was born in a Hindu family, right? Most Nepalis are Hindus, right? Like, if he is Raelian, then he's no longer Hindu, or like he's a Hindu as well as Raelian. Do they allow people like, or is it he can partake in like Hindu festivals and all those things?
He can do whatever he likes.
But
so Raelian movement is not going to tell you to do anything.
It's not necessarily a religion then, right?
Raelian, it's not a religion at all. It's an atheistic, if any, I'm an atheistic person, right?
Atheist.
Like atheist, yeah. Like I'm Jewish by the religion, but I'm also a Raelian. I'm also atheistic. And actually
is it a group? It's kind of a group, right then?
Raelians.
Yeah. So like it's an unofficial group sort of thing, like you get
something
together?
Like that. Like in Israel, we have this group. We have maybe a couple of dozens of people, and all over the world, like in each country, there are some. Maybe not in all of the countries. Maybe in some Arabic countries, there are none. But there are actually a lot of us. Like at least 100,000 people are Raelian right now. Something. It's
70,000 like on the internet, but like probably
right.
Okay,
a bit more.
So like in Israel, like around where you live, like how many do you think in Israel? Like your idea, like any ideas?
How many
in Israel, Raelians?
I just said maybe a couple of dozens, maybe 100, maybe something like that.
So they're in hundreds, like not in thousands, right?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so
but actually, you know what, Raelian, you don't need the definition. Like a lot of people are Raelians, they just don't know it yet, And so it's okay if they still. It's okay not to know.
Yeah,
you can
like,
still live your life the same way you just live them because you're Raelian from the inside.
Like when you were saying about the thing, like how aliens came and like made us in the laboratory, right? Like I was thinking, like in Nepal also, like how our goddesses, like our god, like they make like they make us out of mud. There are stories sort of thing, like how they create us out of mud and then blow the air and just like we became,
in some way that's actually the truth.
Our
like
gods
the Elohim, what you call gods, those people, they took a material.
Yeah.
So that material could be sand. Doesn't matter because it's all about the chemistry. Right. You just have to play with the atoms.
Right.
To change something. Like chicken and a tomato and even I don't know, and even some sand. They're all made from the same particles, but just aligned a bit different,
Right.
So you can make everything from the same material. You just have to play a little bit, with the atoms and everything, and the small particles in order to create some new stuff.
Right.
So actually, It's this, and it's the same story. Even for us, it mentioned that the God, right? He took some sand and blew over it some wind, and then all of a sudden, a man was created. Now, of course, something like that cannot happen.
So like in a way, like I was saying, like,
but if you do it in a laboratory, if you do it in a laboratory, and you take some material and with some technology and with the knowing of DNA structure and some genetic engineering, then you can make everything, even from just a little bit, a small particle of sand per se.
But the thing earlier, I found, like at that point, up to that point, like I was just kind of like trying to say like how our religion also, like in Hinduism also, like creating out of mud is also parallel, like like maybe creating, like they created that in a, it can be anywhere, right? Like it may be in a laboratory or in a kitchen, I don't know where, but like the concept is like kind of similar, like how
concept is similar.
Like that's what I was trying to point out too.
Concept is similar, like for all religions, by the way.
For all religions,
and Elohim knows it because everything started from their religion.
But the thing,
basically Buddhism, right?
But which is basically Buddhism.
Yeah.
Elohim.
Yeah.
What is Elohim actually exactly?
Elohim means in ancient Hebrew, which is their language actually, those who came from the sky.
So they were Buddhist?
In a way. Like Raelism is actually a philosophy. Like there is this Raelism philosophy, right? And you can be Muslim, you can be Christian, you can be Jew, you can be Buddhist, but they mostly prefer the Buddhistic philosophy, let's say, or religion.
I see.
Right. And actually, they are, when they created all life on earth, that was done by separate groups of the Elohim in different places, like in South America, in Africa, in South Asia, in Europe, right? So those groups were trying to create the most successful creations, and they created people. So they did some, they tried to make some contests between those groups of people to see who's the best. And the best people that they managed to create were the Jews. And that makes sense in Hebrew, in the Hebrew Bible. Like we have something that actually describes that's Jewish people as the most intelligent people that are most close to the Elohim. But as for the religion part, it's mostly like Buddhism, I think, would be the most
interesting. That part, like so, like the
Elohim loves everyone, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, some people can be more advanced than other people, naturally. So this is exactly what they were trying to see. Who's the best, so they can make the best people that will make the best
in some
most out of
so
them,
like
right?
In some ways, like it kind of says like everybody is not equal, like technically not equal. Every race is like, they are made by a different group of people, different South Asian, somebody made it, some Elohim made it.
Right.
Japanese people or Asian looking Chinese people, right? Like they are made by different group of people, and the white people, like especially like North Europe, right? Like they were made by some other group of Elohim. So
that was done thousands of years ago. So maybe thousands of years ago, those group of Jews were better. As for now, I'm not sure. Maybe Muslims are better, maybe Christians are better, maybe Buddhists are better. But at that point of time, 25,000 years ago, the Jews were the selected ones.
So so like it kind of incorporates like Judaism into like Raelism also. Like,
it's all combined together in a way.
It is combined together.
Yeah.
So like most of the following of Raelism, like are they from people from Jewish descent? Like I was just wondering. Like,
so the Elohim,
right?
And there is also some in the Bible. It's mentioned. So the sons of the Elohim got together with some women from earth, and they brought to the world a new kind of people, and from there everybody developed. I'm not sure if it made sense. I have to think
So like
about it again.
woman was like Arab, like you said.
No, I mean,
Arab.
at some point of time, those Elohim that created us, they didn't want to mix. But at some point of time, they did mix with us. So they were extraterrestrial, and they made some humans here.
Right.
But at some point, the sons of those extraterrestrials, they can also bring sons and daughters. So those people got involved with their own creations, and those women got birth and to those people, and this is why I guess most of the people who are living right now are actually extraterrestrial descendants.
So like we are not purely like their creation, but like kind of their son also. Like that's
some of us.
Okay, yeah. Some of us. So like and who are those are and Jewish people?
Mostly.
So so like in that whole thing kind of came out from that era, that area,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And probably like I was reading about Rael.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like somebody from a Jewish descent, right? His father is a Jew. Like that's what.
Well, actually, his father is
are they Catholics?
The leader of those Elohim, which is called Yahweh or Yahweh. He is what everybody refers as God. That's his father.
So he's biological, like on
He's
Earth.
He's a mix of some extraterrestrial DNA and some earthly DNA because of his mother. Like she got pregnant, but nobody got her pregnant.
But the human father, like right, like from Earth, who was here, like was he not from a Jewish descent?
He may. I'm not sure about that.
Like I read it on the internet. So like let's stop on that part here. But like this is like any stories, like religious stories, right?
Maybe, wait. Maybe he had somebody who called himself his father, but he was not actually his father according to the DNA structure, right? So maybe there was this guy who was married to his mother, and maybe Rael thought that this is his father and the father is Jewish. But I'm saying generally he's the son of the Elohim themselves, in a way.
But the thing is, like, like before he became Rael, before Claude became Rael, right? Mm-hmm. Like he was a normal guy he lived as a normal guy for 20, 30 years at least, right?
27
years old, right? And he till that point, like he had a father, right? Like some biological father, like
but I don't think he knew his father because at some early point, I think maybe the parents got separated, or maybe his father died or something.
Oh, so there is a story there. Sure, so okay. Anyways, like
he was living with his mother.
But you are telling me about how the stories or how the things in the books goes, right? Like the stories in the books. Like so, you are trying to be as precise about the books as possible.
Yes.
Like because like it's not strictly you don't meet in everyday, like you don't meet each other like on a regular basis, like you go to Sunday church and all those things. Like is there like something that you is some kind of ritual like that you follow? Like why people has this impression that it's a cult? Why people think it's a cult? Like
because people are people. They read some stuff, they don't investigate it, and they just have something set in mind.
Like if you say something wrong, like for example, if you talk while we were talking, right? Like as you were telling me about stories, and to some level, like these kind of stories, they sound absurd in some ways. Like even the Hindu religion.
I tell you something interesting.
Let me so that I don't want to come as brass. I don't want to. I don't want to come as insensitive, but. The thing about in Hindu religion also, like, there are stories about this goddess Parvati, like his son's head gets chopped up, and then like Ganesh, right? Like, and then like his god goes, like Shiva goes somewhere and then brings the elephant head. That's the only head he finds, and then he just like puts it in the child and all those things, stories, like, right? How absurd that can be. These kind of stories, like, they are generally absurd.
Try to think about it like this. Like thousands of years ago, right? People were not that educated like as we are right now. There were really primitive people. All of them actually was really primitive. So if they would see something coming off the sky and doing some miracles, like they see lights from the sky, they see something moving really fast, they see the landing of the UFO, they didn't have even in their own language something that they can describe what they were seeing. Like, people could not understand what they were seeing. So what did they do? They started to develop some belief system. So because they couldn't understand what they were seeing, they had to believe. And from this belief, people, somebody tells you something and you tell the other guy, and then 100 years pass by, and then the original message is just, this guy told this guy and this guy. It gets a little bit different. And then thousands of years later, it's much different. And then 5,000 years later, the message completely different. And then some people said, but I read it in the Bible. So what? So, the Bible can also tell you to jump from the roof. So you're going to do it because this is what the Bible told you to do.
But
and another thing, think about that. Let's say, doesn't matter the religion, they tell you about a monkey that came from the sky and took some mud or something, I don't know, something like that. Why did it was possible 5,000 years ago and not now? What happened?
Yeah.
What is the difference?
Like those kind of stories, the point I was trying to say was those kind of stories, there is, if you take it literally, there is some level of absurdity, Like if you take it literally, yes. I mean, if you take it as a point that they are trying to make,
the Elohim themselves, they said, if you read the Bible per se, 95% of it's complete bullshit.
So but the thing I was trying to say was you're if you said something wrong, so in this podcast, right? Will somebody from up in the command system,
punish me.
They call you and then say, what did you say wrong? Why did you you were not supposed to say that? Is there some kind of punishing? And
no, there will be no punishment. Maybe someone will try to correct me. That's for sure. I already know that I'm missing some parts and I'm doing it.
I mean,
not
you have
the right way. I already know. So maybe somebody from the global movement, will hear this podcast and will say, "Hey, man, you're not precise in some things," and but nobody is gonna punish me for sure. And I say one more thing about Rael. He said this: as a leader, if any leader, especially him, tells you to do something that you don't want to do, don't do it. And that's the difference between him and all the other leaders of all others, organization and cults and everything, because when they tell you to do something and they don't do it, they punish you. Everybody do the same.
So
except
you are
for Rael. He's the only one, and that's the only organization that's not going to punish you. And actually, they structure you not to do something that you are not willing to do, that it is not good. So even if he tells you to kill somebody because he told you, because the Elohim told you, never do it. Never listen to him. Because you have to know and to separate between good and bad. And this is what the message is trying to teach you. You understand? So this is why it's not a cult. That's one of the main differences.
So this is not cult. Point taken. I think we are not just because the mainstream media tries to portray it as a cult doesn't make it cult.
By the way, one more thing.
The thing, the fact that Jewish people are kept in such a high space in that religion, right?
All right.
And then why the sign, the swastika?
Yeah.
The swastika symbol in itself. People, if you tell this message that you are trying to say, you are telling me to any Jewish people in Israel, right? Probably they would be happy that knowing that we are the chosen one. They already, Jewish people, they think they are the chosen one anyways. Right. But at the same time, even Raelism also kind of confirms that, right? They are trying to say that we are the best of the human breed that is out there.
The chosen one.
Yeah.
Chosen once.
But the thing is, why not tell the people that we are actually pretty good. We are, and then this is the message. Mm-hmm. But instead, the symbol that people don't really hear things, right? They only see things.
Yeah.
And when they see there's your sign, there's that swastika sign on the Star of David thing.
Right.
Then they probably they will think that whoa, this guy is Nazi, or their message must be something else against Israel. What you call
this
against
Jews. This is because they're not educated. They just don't know what the signs means. And of course, swastika means be good. It's in Thai, I think, in Thailand.
In Sanskrit, in Nepali.
In Nepali, right. Yeah. So actually...
In Hindi, Nepali, Sanskrit basically.
This is what it means, be good, something like that. Be
good luck, basically.
Good luck, good luck, be good, something like that. So of course, for an Israeli, especially for an Israeli, because what the Germans did, the Nazi Germans did in the World War II, used this really beautiful sign against that. It was really clever from them, so... So of course, many of us are going to be, take a step back and get afraid of this symbol because what I just said. Because what happened with this sign, what the German
it actually means it is like how
you know what? If you want to keep me from the message, this is exactly what as a Nazi German you will do. You will take a good thing, turn it all over, make it a bad thing, and now I'm afraid of it, and now I'm not going to know anything about it, and I don't want to know anything about it because it scares me. And this is exactly what they did, trying to move us back from this beautiful message, and I'm really glad that I'm very glad that I actually found this, because I didn't even know what this symbol means, and for the first time when I saw it,
did you see it in Nepal when you came to 20 years?
Nepal, in India, everybody sees the sign, and they're like, "Oh my God, everybody has Nazis here," because they see the sign. But of course, once you understand what is the true meaning of it, and if you're smart enough and educated and liberal enough and open, so definitely you understand there's nothing wrong here, and everything is fine. But at some point of time, those people did what they did.
I was actually reading about it, like how as I was trying to look into Raelism yesterday, and there was this news where in America what they did was they I don't know when, but it must be recently, few months ago, or it can be before that also. I did not look at the time, but somebody took up this big sign, the Raelian sign,
right.
And then hoisted in the plane, and then flew from one coast to another, and then people basically thought there was neo-Nazi thing,
all over again.
Yeah,
maybe Nazis came from the moon and trying to take all over us now.
And then in America, at least Raelians in America, what they are trying to do is redeem, there is a movement going on among there, they are trying to redeem the swastika back again from every time people think of swastika, they think of Holocaust and all those things, right? And then now they are trying to redeem Raelian people, they are trying to redeem the symbol back again, but a lot of Jews, Jewish people are really against it.
Right. So at some point of time they will have to accept it. Because it's a fact.
And then it's not going anywhere. In Nepal or in Hindu countries, Nepal, India, right? You see swastika everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere. Basically, if you are in a temple or festival, it's supposed to be one of the holiest of the holy signs. And it
is. It is. This is one thing you got exactly right. Keeping the exact same
meaning, right?
Meaning and the exact same. A sign, we didn't change it. Actually, Rael, what he did, just because he was so thoughtful of the Jews, he decided to change a little bit the symbol. So if you get the Star of David and inside you get the swastika, what they did, they took the swastika and graphically designed it differently, so now it looks like a galaxy. Actually, if you can try to imagine how a galaxy would look like, something more softer and circular, but still it's the same sign.
I looked into the sign thing, apparently interpretation of the sign was Star of David is supposed to mean the expansion of galaxy or the planet, right? And then the swastika in itself is supposed to mean the
Star of David means like this. What's
that time, there is a space and time.
Yes.
Outside the swastika, David means space, basically, right?
Right, space and time. You got it
swastika
right.
And now I looked up and then they say
it means what's up is also down, and it goes as well as for time, meaning time is timeless, it's infinity. It's all about infinity at the end of the day.
Except for the connotations that is in there, right? So people all the history and all those things involved. The sign itself, I think it's beautiful, man. I really think the way that it kind of from the star kind of goes into swastika also. The transition point also is kind of done very cleverly. It's a very good piece of artwork. if you look
Actually,
at,
I used to have this necklace which had the Star of David and the swastika inside, and I used to carry it all on me, you know. And this is actually a way for Raelians to recognize each other, because if you see, otherwise you will never know unless I'm talking with you. But if you see it, actually the sign, so now you know I'm a Raelian.
yeah.
So I'm not using it now, but I used to do it for a long time.
Like,
Carry this,
but the thing is,
on
like,
me.
you know, the thing about Jews also, you know, like Jewish people, they always had to be secretly Jews, right? Like
Yeah,
for
they had to hide.
in
They had
Europe,
to
like
hide
for a
in
long
Europe,
time, like
right.
they
Hide
could
their
not,
Judaism.
they saw themselves as a Christian or Catholic, and then but
They
like
had to convert
yeah,
themselves.
and then at home, like they practice Judaism, and then
Right.
like there is this like this community kind of feeling, and then secretive kind of like feeling also
Right.
in their ways, and probably the Raelianism is only another way for Jews like to continue with that way of habit, you know, like that
Let me
habit.
tell you something, which a lot of people don't know. Like, a lot of Jews are actually Muslim that converted at some point of. Again, a lot of Jews are actually Arabs that converted to. Wait,
Converted
it's a
to
bit complex even.
Christianity.
No, I want to say maybe a lot of Muslims are actually Jews who converted. No,
Converted
still it confuses me. Maybe I want to say a lot of Arabs are actually Jews that converted to Islam, and a lot of Islamic people are actually. I have to think about it again. I had it in mind, but
yeah.
I managed to confuse myself because it's a little bit confused.
Is this like this saying, or like is it a famous?
No, it's a fact. Like you know, of course, Arabs hate Jews, and some Jews hate Arabs, but actually we're brothers.
That's what you
and
basically.
we refer to each other as cousins, but actually we're like brothers, because what I just tried to say. Let's
like,
see if it's gonna go
no,
right
the,
now.
the thing is, like, you know, even though Arabs, like not Arabs, like Muslim, Christian, and Jew, they have this tension going on all the time. They fight each other.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, they're all this pretty much like they follow the same line of thinking. You know, like they are basically
Yes.
they're
following the same
like descendants
God,
of
right?
like Abraham and like Solomon
Yes.
and all those. They have like same stories. Everything is basically the same.
Yes.
It's kind of funny that they are always fighting though. Like, you know, brothers fight. You know, in the end, that's what brothers do. They always fight. And yeah, like moving on, like from Raelism,
Yes.
like I think we pretty much covered everything. I don't know, like if there is anything that I particularly.
Yeah.
There was something that I wanted to ask you, like say like Raelism.
Talked about realism, veganism.
No, like I wanted to ask you something. Another something that a question had popped in my mind like earlier about it being a cult or not.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, like it was. I think I already covered it. Like let's move on. Like
All right.
so. Like veganism, right? Like you have this, like what started before? You were Raelian before being a vegan, or you were vegan before and then you became Raelian?
No. First of all, I was vegan first, and or let's say I was vegetarian and vegan, and then I became Raelian.
And then you earlier said that like you don't necessarily have to be vegan to be Raelian. It has no correlation, right? Like nothing. Raelians are meat eater, basically, right?
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah. Like.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? This is partially why I'm not officially part of the group. Like, because some of them eat meat, and for me as a vegan to sit with people, and it can be Raelians, it could be whatever, you know, just sitting with people that are not the same set of mind that they eat meat, meaning they're violent in a way, you know, because eating meat is a violent thing. So for me, it's really hard to sit with people like this, especially when they know that they're Raelians, they're supposed to be the chosen one, you know. So for me as a vegan to sit and talk and share thoughts and deeds with people that does not accept me, even if they're Raelians and we're supposed to be the same, it's a bit difficult. So I decided to go by myself. So, you know, I'm not going to say that I represent the global movement or the Raelian in any way. I'm just saying for myself, I'm a Raelian. I feel an urge to share the message because I really understand the message and I love it so much and I want everybody to know about it. And
but I got the point. But now I remember the question that I earlier wanted to ask. Like it was like, was there any point like in real when you said like you became a Raelian, right? Yeah. It was like you read a book and then I was like, oh, I'm a Raelian now. I like it. I'm gonna be a follower of Raelianism. Like I kind of like resonate with this idea. Or like it was like you met other Raelians and then you went there and then there's some kind of ceremony, rites and all those things here where they actually took you in. Like
just before I read the book and knew all about the Raelians, I figured out myself that there is something different. Like there's somebody had to create us. I just called them aliens still. I didn't put a name and tag name like Raelians or, I knew that somebody had to create us in a sophisticated way, that nothing was created by itself because nothing can be created from nothing. Everything has to be created and be made from something. Otherwise it would just wouldn't exist, So I already knew those things. And then some of my friends, because he knew I'm into, some UFO, I was watching YouTube videos and everything. And he said, Rael? And I said, no. And I started to read. And, right on the first page, I was like, Eureka.
So you were already inclined towards that.
Yeah, and then after meeting the other Raelians, let's say in Israel, and meeting the group and everybody, and I learned a little bit more. Actually, they told me, you're a Raelian, you're a born Raelian, in a way, because Raelian is something that you feel inside. Nobody, put a tag in your Raelian. You can be lower caste, higher caste, whatever,
So, but was there like some kind of like a ceremony, the rites that
there was a ceremony. Yeah, it's called transmission. You transmit your. There is a transmission that you can have. Yeah,
and like I wanted to get into this other topic, like the same thing, but like
it's really similar to baptism.
Some kind of like ceremony. Yeah, I think it is initiation process. Like
it is not needed, but it's a possibility.
I mean, like I think. Every every religion, every kind of like a ethnic group, everybody, they have this like when you step up from one age, like when you become.
I tell you what they do at the ceremony. Yes, just a sec. Yeah. They take a genetic code and they deliver it to the Elohim, which are sitting in the UFO at some point that you cannot see them, but they are there at that specific point of time at the ceremony. So this is called transmission.
It's a symbolically. Okay.
It's a bit symbol. But they do some, they touch you, they pull their hand in the water and they touch your forehead.
Who is there? Like somebody who is initiated. Somebody.
Guide.
It can be anybody. Or like
no. He has to be a Raelian. He has to be a guide of one of the movements.
Like Raelian, like he has to be a kind of like a leader in that group.
Yes,
sort
exactly.
Like you voted. Somebody chooses him. Like
and the main guide.
Main guide.
Yes.
Guide. Okay. Yeah. So like, the question that initiation thing is a common thing. Everybody has that. When you become somebody becomes from boy to a man, there is some kind of process in every religion, every ethnic group. Like even like in like like Native Indians or like indigenous ethnic group, like living in Amazons and all those things. There is this some kind of initiation process. I think I kind of knew the answer, but at the same time, I wanted to just distinguish like. Whether it is just an intellectual like philosophy only or like it is like some kind of like there is some kind of like a community kind of like vibe in it. So there is some kind of a group kind of community kind of feeling to Raelianism, right? Like if you meet some Raelian somewhere, like you feel like we are in
brothers.
we are in the same page, like we know each other, we are connected sort of feelings, right?
Yes.
It's not like we only read this book and we both like this book. It's not like
well, some of them, read a book and that's that for them, doesn't mean that they're Raelian just because they read a book. But but some people can actually be Raelians and never read a book and they will never know that somebody is thinking about them as Raelians, but
Okay. So like anyways, like I wanted to get into this part now. So how has your life changed, like since you realized or found out that you are a Raelian? Like has your life become better? Like you knew, like once you became a Raelian, like officially, right? Like after initiation process also, how has your life differed?
So I think I felt really relaxed knowing and we still didn't talk about all the great thing in the message because it goes for hundreds of pages. So I cannot tell everything that I know. You have to read the book for yourself, and you can download it free online on Raelian.org. Raelianmovement.org, I think.
Close it. Okay.
Okay, but
how has your life changed?
I understand. Not that much, but now that I know, now that I figure out everything, we live our lives. We're searching for the answer that some of us are looking for some answers. We have questions. We were looking for some answers, and I found the answer that I needed. So I don't have any more questions. I think I know everything that I needed to know in order to be relaxed and calm in a way that I'm not pursuing any more path in order to be enlightened or in order to know some more.
You don't have confusion.
Okay. Exactly. I'm not confused anymore. This is what I'm trying to say. I was confused at some point of time, and I'm not confused anymore. And mostly because I got aware of the Raelian message.
Okay, so if you get if you feel lost somewhere sometime, if you have confusion, is there somebody that you go to among the community where to ask about things
no,
to consult?
No, I don't need them because I have the book, and if I have some questions, I just read the book. And I'm telling you, the book has all the answers a person's need. It's really unique, and because of that, I already know what's going to happen to me after I'm dead. So I'm really relaxed. I really don't have to fear about anything anymore.
So what does the Raelianism say about that? Let's now that you teased us.
Read the book and know the answer yourself.
So you guys believe in reincarnation or not?
There is no reincarnation. There is something else. It's called cloning. The human cloning.
Oh yeah, that's actually one of the big part of the controversy.
Yeah. And I will explain it shortly.
Yeah.
When you die, in order to live again, you have to interfere scientifically. You have to interfere scientifically. What you need to do is to take a cell from the body that contains all the information that is needed in order to clone your body again. So first of all, you got the body again. So already you got the body. But what about what people refer as a soul? So there is no soul. What there is your personality and memories, which are kept somewhere here in the forehead in a cell. So what you do, you take this cell and you put it in this clone body, and there you go. You can live all over again. And if you do it right, you can live instead of 100 years, 1,000 years. What happens after 1,000 years? The body, you can create it again. But you're not creating it again to be old. You can create yourself exactly like you were, let's say, at the age of 17 or 27 or at your highest peak, right? So you're always young. You always have energies and empowered. And the only thing that matters is to take the cell from the head that contains your personality, what people confuses as a soul. There is no soul, there is a personality.
So when you die, you basically, if you do not do anything
if you do not do anything,
you die.
It's
done. But and how do you do that? Is
scientifically.
Scientifically. So there is
only scientifically.
So
like this, the body dies and then everything dissolves and all the cells are floating in the air and there is no you anymore. What is you? You is not only the body, it's also the personality and the memories. But if you're not going to do anything scientifically to clone the body and to copy this, just like in computer, you have to copy it to another folder, let's say. So the folder is the body, and it's like a software and software and what's
hardware
and the hardware, right? So the body is the hardware, the personality and memory is the software, and this is how you clone yourself again and again and again and again and again. But This is not something
So,
that
like-
everybody, like, this is a great
Okay.
present. Not everybody gets this present because some people are bad people, and you do not want bad people to be cloned over and over again. Like, let's say the Nazis, you would never want bad people to be cloned again and do some horrible things again and again and again, because a bad person is gonna always be bad. So this is actually the biggest gift that they can give us, is to live over again and again internally. But very few of us human beings in Earth get this amazing present gift. And
I think we have not been able to. We have not. Like, legally also, and probably technology-wise, we are ready. But like, cloning is not legal. I mean, most part of the world, right? Human cloning, at least.
human cloning, yeah.
Yeah, and then, so like, if somebody dies now, like, you just keep a certain part of them right now, and then hope that someday, if he's a good person, then
Right.
they will clone him back
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So that's what they do. Like, Raelian, like, if they are, if they are dead now, like before the technology is ready, their body frozen somewhere.
It could be frozen, doesn't matter. You're not going to do anything without it because you don't have the technology. So you're just keeping a dead body, and you're not going to use it at any point of time because you just don't know what to do with it. You see?
Yeah.
So the only thing that could happen if the Elohim are coming for you and they're creating you again in their planet, maybe not here, not now.
Okay.
Yeah, we still do not have the technology to do it right now. We are just at the beginning of, cloning. We can clone maybe some animals. Maybe some scientists can actually clone people right now. We just don't know about it. And even if they could clone the body right now, they still haven't figured how to copy the personality and put it.
So
in
it'll be just the body only, like not the personality,
It'll
right?
be just the body. It means nothing.
Nothing. So like probably that new clone would be a completely different type of person, right?
Completely different person.
Right.
He would not even be a person because you didn't take his personality. You're just cloning a body. What about the personality? It does not exist.
Right.
You have to copy it again. So that's all about cloning.
Yeah, that was a very interesting part, man. Like cloning part is also like that I almost forgot, because like cloning is also something that's one of the essential part of the whole Raelian thing, like, right?
Right.
So like technology is not ready. It should catch up first.
Right.
Now, like, let's
even if it's ready, not all of us are going to enjoy this kind
like,
of
You
technology.
know, biological, like parts wise cloning technology, genetically, like they can clone. I think like they have tried on sheep and all those things, right? And probably a lot of countries like where the legal system is kind of loose, they can, like technology is there, but like personality cloning is a different thing. Like, that's a different dimension. I don't know. Our technology is like ready for that. I don't know if it can be done in technologically only, like,
maybe some rich people
probably
has this technology and maybe they use it on themselves in some way, but not the way the Elohim pretended. Like they would be called
not pretended. What do you call they
attended,
Okay.
not what the Elohim attended. I mean,
intended.
we are still not there.
Yeah.
There's still going to be a couple of thousands of years, I guess, until we figure it out.
I see.
Unless...
So, like, all the people till up to this point, that once they die, they just go.
Yes.
So there is no reincarnation.
And you don't have to be afraid of death. Like, if it's a natural cause, it's just, I don't know how to describe it. You feel nothing.
Our gods
no
are
pain, nothing, just blackness, and you're even not aware of it because there is no personality anymore. So it's like closing your eyes, go to sleep, and not dreaming about anything and don't remember anything and not knowing that you're dead. That's simple. So this is why you should not be afraid of death.
Right. Like, I mean...
just accept it. And I think most of the people would really like to just, die and relax and like sleep forever and ever. And, it's funny because I'm talking with people and I'm asking them, would you be wanting to live all over again, to be cloned and you live forever? And I'm telling you, most, if not everyone that I'm talking with, just want to die quietly and never get cloned again. They're too suffering in this life. They think they're gonna suffer in another life. Of course, it's not gonna happen. The whole thing of cloning you again and again and again, it's for you to enjoy life. The whole purpose of the message of the Elohim is just to enjoy life. We are already living. Why not to enjoy life?
Okay. Yeah, I will. Since you are an official kind of person, I'll take this as a kind of like a official ending for that topic. Topic, right? Now let's move on to another aspect. Now, since you are in Nepal, right? How long? You said, you're gonna be here for another 5-6 months, right? Before
for
you
now,
have to
maybe 3 months.
3 months, yeah. And then, how do you plan to enjoy the rest of your stay in Nepal?
Right. So I think I just want to relax a little bit,
Right.
I'm not in a rush to do anything. I do gonna do some vegan related things and some art related things, and maybe if I'll get a chance, even some more Raelism, Raelian related things, maybe some cleaning volunteering. Back in Israel, I used to be cleaning volunteering, and I cleaned all the nature valleys and everything until I got really bad injured. And I had to put a stop for my activity. But I do want to do it here as well. I'm going to do it alone by myself, just like I did the other time. But who wants to join me are most welcome. Let's clean it up.
What do you clean?
I clean nature valleys. I clean the streets from garbage.
You just pick up garbage as you walk around?
Exactly.
Oh, man. That's a lot of garbage for you to pick.
Listen, in Israel, I was cleaning for straight half a year, day after day.
If it is already clean, right? In America, suppose, if you walk in the street, you see a couple of trashes here and there, you pick it up and then go.
Yeah.
Over here, if there is more trash than lips, then you have what to pick, man.
Yeah. Where to start with?
What to start with? Really,
that's exactly the thing. You have to start with something.
Right?
Something, and then it grows. So as for me, nobody helped me. I did it all by myself. Nobody joined me. Not the government, not the authorities, not the people. Nothing. Except maybe for one person, but. That's it. I say, nobody helped me, and I was really frustrated because of
in Israel.
In Israel, and I got really bad injuries.
How dirty does it get in Israel?
Well, it is hundreds of tons of garbage. People just go into this nature valley, enjoy the river, enjoy the scenery, yes, and then they just throw everything back to the water, back to the soil.
So even Israelis are Asians.
What are they?
Israelis are supposed to be more Europeans, right?
Supposed to, but they act like animals, and even animals are much cleaner than human beings. They leave nothing behind them,
I mean, animal is a very harsh word to use. I think that would include a lot of Nepalese also, man. Come on. I mean, if I go to when you go to Langtang or all those treks, right?
Even there, it's a bit dirty. I have to say.
For some reason, people, even educated people, man, it's something that's. Unless you are conscious and you become aware of these things, people education doesn't do anything to them. Otherwise, the government should step up and then make a strict rule and all those things. Enforcing bodies, even on the street, you just throw, you don't. Yeah, it's a big problem, man.
I think it's all come from the inside. You really have to be educated. Why wouldn't I pollute the environment? Because I was taught not to do it. Somebody told me, don't do it. It's not good. And I was smart enough to understand it. Some people, sorry to say, are not smart enough to understand that if somebody tells them something, that they're doing something wrong, they should not do it. And some people, when you tell them what to do, they do exactly the opposite. So you tell them, don't pollute. What they do, pollute. So I think you really have to go from the beginning, from their...
Somebody has to start somewhere, right?
Yes.
And so do you think people, you have volunteering groups that you have contacted?
Yeah, they all rejected me.
Really?
They said you're doing a great job, but nobody helped me. And I'm talking about big organization. They have, I could use a lot of help from them.
In Nepal,
nobody helped me.
In Nepal, that's in Israel.
No, in Israel. In Nepal, I haven't started yet.
Yeah.
I'm only a week here, but I'm planning to.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to do it alone by myself. I'm not going to tell anyone when I'm going to start. I'm just going to post maybe the picture after did. And I'm going to say, today I cleaned half of Kathmandu, something like that. Probably is going to happen. But you know what? I do want to do something big if I can. I would like everybody to join me. I'm going to publish and to say before I go, like I'll let you know when I'm gonna do it, and hopefully somebody will come and join me, because I want them to show the example for the other, to be the example for the others. Like I already know how I'm gonna do it. Like I already took some trash bag and some gloves back from Israel and brought it with me, although I could buy everything here, right? So I took trash bag and some gloves, and this is all I need, except maybe some water. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna pick some trash and pick some, and hopefully some people probably gonna see me doing it and maybe join me, and maybe not.
Maybe not, yeah.
And it's okay.
Like I think, like you are the man.
I want to make an example. I want to make people better. This is what I'm gonna do.
Like you're a man in a mission. So
yes,
like
I am.
like you have like kind of like knowingly or unknowingly like kind of walked your own path, and like you have along the way found some people have kind of like. Supported you in your journey, like even like with the vegan
emotionally
thing,
supported me.
Like vegan thing, like in Nepal, like kind of like you found some friends here, like I think like that, and we kind of got connected through that. Even though I'm not a vegan, but like through our mutual friends, right?
Right.
And then probably like with the cleaning community also, there is a lot of like organization here, like who do that kind of things, but like. Individual, like I don't know, probably there you can connect with them and find some friends there also. Like. People are actually, a lot of Nepalese people, like they are, especially young people who grew up in city, they are worried about this like issues, like.
Yes.
And then and Kathmandu is much cleaner than it used to be like 20, 30 years ago. Like probably back then you did not realize, but like it's much better now. Like in terms of like city centers and all those things, people do clean. It's only the rivers and all those things like they are still polluted, but. So like we talked about pretty much everything that we wanted to talk right today, and then like now like let's wrap this conversation up, and then probably like in our next meeting, like before you leave Kathmandu, before you leave, go back to Israel.
Yeah.
Actually, you plan to go back to Israel, or are you gonna go somewhere else before you leave?
No, I have to leave to Israel. Maybe I'm gonna stay for a month. Maybe go to India again, and I would really like to come back to Nepal. It all depends on the visa and everything. If I can ever come back again. Really like to.
So you have just been here like for a couple of days. Like now, like after your 3-4 months experience, like we might like I don't know how things go for you and me, right?
Yes.
Like if it's possible, then we might have talk about it again.
Yeah,
if people
really
like especially if our audience like it a lot, then that must happen. But
like and subscribe, guys. Don't forget to hit the bell.
But like if they like it, we'll do it. But like for now, like I think it's a good time to like end it, right? Wrap it.
Yeah, I think so too.
And really. Then like and any last word, like is there any final words that you want to tell to the audience?
Yes. Be kind. Show some compassion for people, for animals, and just do good things. Know to differ between wrong and right, and then you can actually live in happiness.
Right, that's a great message. Yeah,
all right.
Like I think it's a simple message. We all think that we know things, but like in the end, like those simple facts and truths about life makes life living worthwhile, right?
Right.
And you've been doing in a way Elohim's job. Spreading the message.
I'm trying
like
to do my best.
Nice talking with you, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. I really enjoyed myself here.
Like
I would
see you in a couple of months.
All right.
Again.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
All right, man.